Hey everyone, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here. So I wanted to talk to everybody about the cult of Karen. Karen is thrown around all the time these days to pretty much any woman and almost exclusively to white women who, quote, want to speak to your manager. It's become a really weird slur to any and every woman who does or says something that seems extreme, even if it isn't really. The reality is that many of the women who are called Karens aren't, by previous popular definition, actually Karens. Karen is merely the leader of a cadre of other women or a cult of her own followers. Going in stereotypical Hollywood sitcom fashion, these would be white suburban soccer moms who don't work, are way too involved with their children's schools, but oddly not the children's personal lives, in an attempt to make themselves superior to the social statuses of their cul-de-sac neighbors. The members of this group are Karen, who is the leader in all things. Where she goes, the others follow. She is practically a drill sergeant for her group and is the mouthpiece when they are all together. She says she wants input from everybody, but she merely does so to appear to be democratic in process. Make no mistake, this is a dictatorship. Karen is a force to be reckoned with and not to be taken lightly. She was often captain of her cheerleading squad in high school and probably peaked there in terms of accomplishments aside from the person she married and the kids, but those are merely her first grabs at power. The next member is Brenda. We all know Brenda. Brenda doesn't shut up unless Karen is around. She is perpetually right, perpetually pissed, and perpetually lets you know it. Shut up, Brenda! Again, except when Karen is around, it's her way or the highway. She marries for status and money, uses everybody around her, hates that she has to bend the knee to anyone, but realizes she isn't the leader that Karen is and doesn't have the same skills and connection that Karen does. Better to be the right hand of the devil and all that. Shit-stirring Susan is another in the cult. Susans are more subdued than Karens and Brendas. They are more calculating and more organized than their counterparts. When Karen wants something done quickly and on a budget, she calls Susan. Susan knows everything that's going on. She'll speak up if she needs to, but otherwise she is the one starting the change.org petition, sowing the seeds of distrust on social media, and figuring out how to ruin your life in the most efficient way possible. She's part of the group because it gives her instant power and credibility to take down anyone who has wronged her in the past or will in the future. Diane, or Diana, is like that little yippy dog that just straight up annoys the ever-living crap out of you. She's usually not that bright, often isn't right in any of her accusation, but she's persistent and wears people down and is so damned annoying. She thinks she knows everything, but even Karen hates her. In fact, Diane or Diana are often only a part of the group when they need her to be. Otherwise, they leave her at home because they can't stand her either. She's a know-it-all who doesn't really know much of anything, but again, people relent to her because she just doesn't stop and gets in your head. Lastly, there's Debbie. Debbie is the heart of the group. She's got the energy, keeps everybody focused, and makes sure the group does what it needs to do. She hates her own life, so being with Karen and her clan gives her an escape where she feels like she can make a difference. In all honesty, the group could probably just do without her and have Susan be their guide, but Susan would rather focus on other things, and if Debbie is willing to babysit Brenda and Diana, then it means she can do her own thing and Debbie can feel like she's contributing. Now that you understand the differences between the members of the cult of Karen, you can properly identify whom you're dealing with. Karens are rarely out in the wild alone. Even if they are not with their cult, they will probably be with their children or significant other. Karens are also not usually the violent ones. They speak loudly, but delegate their wrath to Brenda and Diana, who enjoy causing mayhem. Karens have a social status to keep. They rarely get their own hands dirty. There is a male version of this as well, though they are not nearly as destructive nor well known. In the male version, Kyle is a mouthpiece, but he doesn't really care about seeing anyone's manager. Todd is the shit-stirring one. Tough guy Todd. He thinks he can kick anyone's ass. Keith is the yippy asshole. Shut up, Keith. And then there's Brad. God fucking damn Brad. Brad is just a dick. This is usually the group of guys you see out at almost every bar trying to hit on women. In college, they all live in the same dorm or house and throw most of the parties or crash them despite nobody inviting them. At the bars, They often show up wasted or near wasted. Some interchangeable members are Dennis, the idiot who thinks he's slick and that women love him, but he never seems to get laid and he lies. Constantly. Blair or Blaine, who is the little rich kid whose parents wanted to name him like he was a spoiled little rich kid, and he acts exactly like you'd expect someone with that name to act. The guys are really more just annoying than anything. Avoid groups of guys in their 20s and early 30s at bars and you'll likely be fine. Unlike Karen and her group, the guys pretty much stick to their local hangouts, and once you spot them, you'll know what to look for and when to avoid them. Back to the cult of Karen. If at all possible, don't engage with members of the cult of Karen unless you absolutely have to. When doing so, keep your interactions brief, direct, and use eye contact whenever possible. You don't want to show fear to members of Karen. They will use any and all information to destroy you when needed. If they think they have something on you, they will use that to their advantage when the time comes to call in favors. Beware of how and when to interact with them and avoid direct confrontation unless you are willing to either face the consequences or have a clear upper hand over them with having nothing they can use against you. Even then, rethink your actions and only proceed if it truly is the best course. Like being married, choose your battles wisely. Only fight those battles you know you can win and don't give up anything that can be used against you. There's a difference between showing grace because you don't have the resources to take them down properly and losing while giving them more power. If they beat you fair and square, they gain power. If you bow out after putting up a good fight but not being able to last, they gain power. If you step up before they come in because nobody else will, and when they do, you bow out without losing resources, you are being strategic. While they're focused on one thing, that is the perfect time to achieve something else that's hopefully more important. Remember that when you deal with one member of Karen, you are dealing with the entire group. It's never just one-on-one. It will always be you versus them. Karens only form temporary alliances, so even if you think you are on their side, they don't think they are on yours. They are merely using you as a resource and will end their alliance with you once you are no longer useful. Unless you have the full reliable resources to take on a Karen cult, it's often better to remain in the shadows and strike strategically when you can without getting caught. In the end, it's just foolish to play these social status games. If at all possible, simply avoid social status politics and just be yourself. However, there are those who feel this type of thing is the only important thing and is necessary to their functionality. If you are one of those people, as I stated before, understand and recognize which members of Karen you are dealing with before interacting with them and remember that the others of the group are not far away. If you ever come face to face with a real live Karen, do not turn your back on her. If you do not feel you can confront her, keep eye contact and walk away slowly without saying anything. If you're bold and brave enough and feel you have it in you to win, you can try to beat her, but as always, she has an entire group of resources at her back.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, ring the notification bell, and follow me on social media. Links in the description down below.
Ow!